For continuity's sake, let me put my hair
Okay. If you are curious about some of the behind the scenes roles in theater, my name is Emily Salatan. My pronouns are she, her, and I am here with a very special guest to talk to us about what it actually means to serve on Ram's Head's board.
Hi, everybody. My name's Benny. I'm a senior. I use they, them pronouns. And I'm just really happy to be here, happy to be with you on this shared digital space. Board really handles a lot of the things like financials that don't really get passed around, so more sensitive information like that. But they're also in charge of things like helping out with casting and making sure that everybody in a show is hired properly. And they're just checking in with producers, making sure the show is running great. Sometimes that's checking in with writers to make sure that like a Gades is being written, or checking in with rich writers to be like, hey, like um, let's do like approval for the show and things like that. So we're always like behind the scenes, making sure things are getting written, things are getting done, and that a lot of like the outward facing like Rams things are kind of like happening on both like an appropriate timeline as well as making sure that like all of the things are representing the organization like to like the best of our ability and how we see fit.
How about Cord? What do you do there?
Yeah, so this is my third year on Chord. Um, and last year was headed by another fellow board member, Amanda Yuan, and then the year previous by another really wonderful board member, Danielle Stagger. Um, and so basically, Cord is in charge of kind of like a hodgepodge mix of a lot of different things. So half of it is almost like community-based, like organizing within the scope of Ram shows. So that might be organizing things like one of the things that we did during Pippin was an event called Pizzas of Color that would happen like every so often. And it was like specifically community oriented events that would try and kind of like build camaraderie amongst some of the people in color and Rams specifically. So we could kind of like counteract some of like obviously the really big problems that theater has with like inclusivity and things like that. But on another level, Cord will also be there, just like Board, helping out with casting decisions and auditions and things like that. Just so one that people who have like a really set intention for looking out for like diversity related things have their eyes on like scripts and casts and things like that. So Cord will oftentimes be a part of like the spring show selection committee, or will be a part of the groups like CAB, or are have their eyes on like Wish and things like that. So there's people involved on every level from auditions all the way to like when shows are getting written or when shows are getting selected and things like that. So Cord really does like the same kind of run around that Board does is like, oh, what are the different ways that we can have all of our eyes on a lot of different parts of the process, but are specifically geared towards making sure that we're really making like inclusive and like accessible decisions about theater and things like that.
What drew you to these specific roles?
That's such a good question. So a lot of the things that I was doing before I like took my time on board. So obviously I'm a senior now, and so I was on board my junior and senior year. But I had done a lot of acting, both in high school and as a freshman. So I was in Chicago, the spring show, my freshman year. And I was also in Gaieties my sophomore year. And so I kind of like had done the um, like in-person in-show like run, and I was kind of like, woo, I am so tired. Like I don't necessarily think I can do rehearsals from 7 to 11 every night anymore. Like my bones were starting to feel weary. And so after I had done a little like I had done my acting and I had done designing, I also costume designed for the Addams Family. Um, and I was kind of like, what's next? Like what do I do now? And so I felt like the only logical conclusion was to run for board. And then I found out that there was something that I like really ended up loving, and I had such a wonderful time because it was basically just me getting to like hang out and um, like do cool fun things with people that I loved, like every single week. A lot of the things about board are that it's like this kind of like mystic behind closed doors like secret club. um and the thing is, most things about board aren't really like secret or have to be secret. So if people have any questions about like what it's like to be on board, and like what like the job is like, or what like the day-to-day is like, and things like that, there's so many people that are like so willing to come and like talk to you about this stuff. So yeah, feel free to reach out with any questions.
So much to Benny for being here, and to everyone watching. If you have more questions or you just want to hear a little more about some of the different behind the scenes roles at Rams, I look forward to seeing you at our panel this quarter.